let's go ahead and introduce you all because that way we can put a name with a face or a voice. So I guess if you want to start with Jason.
Hi, I'm Jason Jones.
And your position too, I guess you can tell us.
I am Fresh Patch's Chief Operations Officer.
Yeah, Christine.
All right.
Hi, I'm Christine, and I'm Fresh Patch's Creative Director.
I'm James Carnegie. I'm the Operations Manager.
Hi everyone, I'm Lori Feld, and I was doing the marketing and Andrew's little sister.
Yay!
So that's how I got roped into all of
I
this
love
goodness.
that. Andrew's little sister. Another Feld. Okay, go ahead.
Another Feld over here, Andrew Feld, and the Fresh Patch CEO.
Yeah. And I just do a little bit of everything. So we're going to go back in time, just like this house. And we're going to go back and we're going to start a little bit before Fresh Patch in Hollywood.
Oh yeah, let's go way back.
Way back.
Okay.
When it was just you, me, and Chloe.
Yeah.
Our dog, Chloe.
Chloe,
Yay.
and speaking of Chloe, this is Chloe here on our Fresh Patch small batch treats. She's
Chloe was
just a
our
little
top
shout
dog.
out to our dog and our first child, and
Our first dog.
yeah, pretty much she was.
It's true. But okay, so we started in Hollywood. I guess you want to start when we moved? I'll let you tell the story.
Well, yeah, I mean, Fresh Patch didn't exist when we were in LA. We were acting and doing modeling stuff,
we were.
and we were getting by, but things weren't that easy. So you got a job opportunity in Florida.
I did. It was during the writer's
Right
strike.
after the writer's
Right
strike.
after that, we're like, well, this is boring.
Yeah.
Nothing's happening. We're not working. We're just sitting around. So we ended up getting, I got a job in Florida, a producing job.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And then we sold everything.
Everything. Luckily, we made it to Florida. We had rented this small apartment or condo, but it felt like a mansion for us.
We felt like we had made it, guys. Like I had my job, but I hadn't even started yet.
Yeah.
He was
I was
coming
like-
up with his vision.
You know?
You
But
know.
at this point, he didn't have that. So I was like, we kind of need a plan. Like, this is kind of scary.
And then we found out you were pregnant.
And then I found,
Yeah.
got pregnant right away. Got to Florida.
Yeah, and so then I just remember, I don't remember the specifics, but I remember like freaking out and because I was unemployed and coming up
Yeah.
with the idea for the company literally that same night,
Yeah.
like waking up the next day with the idea for Fresh Patch.
Someone spoke to you, right?
Yeah,
you
something
got
like
it.
that.
Like,
And
Good message.
which was, I mean, and I just, because I had been doing this with Chloe, I was bringing in grass onto the balcony in our apartment for our dog because she didn't have a backyard anymore.
right. We should
and that was
say
working.
In Hollywood, we
Yeah.
were lucky enough to have this little yard area. It wasn't very big, but like she knew how to go outside, you know, and that was it. When we got there, we had this cool townhouse, but we had no backyard.
We didn't have a backyard, so she was like not happy. She was angry with us.
She was angry.
So I was going to like the local nursery, like tree nursery where they have plants and stuff, and buying sod and bringing it into the apartment, putting it in the car, bringing it up the escalator, and Chloe loved that, and
She did.
and it was working, but it was a real pain in the ass for me.
So switching gears here a little bit, I know like it did get very busy, and I think we were trying, you know, looking at like scaling the company, and you know, right? Wouldn't you say? And that's kind of when we found our next one,
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones.
Jason Jones. No, so trying to think how this came up. You were just overwhelmed, I think. Both of you guys.
Andrew would be coming to me and being like, so I'm thinking about buying a grass farm, and I'm like,
This just got crazy.
Like,
we all
think
like
about
fell in.
this
No.
message.
I was like, oh yeah.
I
I'm
think
like, yes,
for
yes,
months,
yes.
I
it
know.
was like,
Well, maybe.
you need an operations
Yes,
guy.
and
You and I would
yes.
have side conversations
Yeah, we
too.
do.
Where we're like, how are we going to get him to agree
Yeah,
to get
we
an
would.
operations
We're like the
guy?
guys in the background. So if you ever
Wow.
wonder, there's a
Side
lot of background
combos.
noise. But go ahead, Jason.
Yeah.
Tell us about your journey coming.
No, yeah, I mean, I feel like I was maybe one of the earlier people that had like a full job available for them already when they got here. You know,
Right.
because like you guys
Like
were
a
all
normal
here, like, during
thing.
that building phase. You know, James talking about 1 day and then 2 days and then 3 days and then my whole life. You know.
Yeah.
But like I came in and I really got to see how much you guys had built already,
Yeah.
and like how you guys had honestly been able to like make something this big and successful without an operations department or like person like doing some of these things, and how you guys are splitting these tasks like amongst yourselves, you know?
Yeah,
And
that's
so I just,
exactly it.
Yeah.
Were you
Exactly
just
what
like,
happened.
how are they? How's this even
just-
working?
I just come in. I look at it like where I think of it in a way where I can look at the situation and say, okay, where could their capacity be better used, and what are the things that I can take away from them, you know? But also, like, I get excited about like an entrepreneur and their idea. So when you come to me with like, what do you think of this? All I can think of is like, you know, okay, these are the steps that we need to take in order to make this happen. You know, so it's never going to be a no. It's just going to be, this is what it's going to take. And, you know, you can decide like from there, like how we want to move forward. But I mean, you know, I came on during the COVID like period.
Was it? I was trying to think. It was the end. I guess here
Yeah.
it was still very COVID, right? No,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah, like it was still like
Yeah,
it was
you're
like it was
right.
towards the tail end
The
of the
tail
COVID
end,
period. But like I still came in like during the COVID period, and like I had, you know, most recently transitioned from like running operations for a COVID company, and so like coming into doing this was like a very different like interview. I remember like the initial like correspondence that I got from you guys, and just talking about the company. I remember thinking to myself, so grass.
The same.
Okay, like yeah, let's do this phone call, right? Like, and then like I remember doing the interview, like talking to you guys, and just thinking like, grass. Like,
It's a little bit more.
I was like, this feels like a real. I mean, I had seen the Shark Tank episode. I had a friend, like I had a couple of friends actually that were like customers of yours, like prior. So I'd seen the product in use, so I knew it was like a thing. I just was like, you know, it's like, okay, so this can support like my role. Like, okay, so I'm coming on board and I'm hearing more about the company. Honestly, it just made me excited. It made me excited because I was like, okay, I feel like I'm coming on during what can hopefully be, you know, a pivotal transitional period of like growth for us. And maybe I can be a catalyst for that. You know? There were processes, you know, like, I mean, like there were like things were definitely like happening. Like, you know, warehouse ran. Things got done. Everything went out.
There was process at the warehouse,
I
but
was
then
like-
I'm in Denver.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
There
Yeah,
wasn't even
with
a Monday
everyone-
call
I was
for
gonna
you.
say, I was like,
Remember that?
I was like, I
yeah.
feel like a lot of things were getting done, like
In
done well,
silos.
but in silos.
Yes,
Like getting
Yeah.
the team to like work more collaboratively.
You were like,
together.
let's have a team meeting.
Yeah, you
Yes.
know, it's important
How
for
about
everyone
that?
to know. Like, I think everyone in
Yeah,
management
we
needs to
did
know what's
that.
going on with the
Yeah,
company.
I said the
you,
first.
you said you were like,
I'm
you
big
need
on
to have a
team.
Monday meeting.
Yeah,
and
I
that
remember.
changed
But that
things.
was
I was like,
for-
oh, like I can meet other people who are
Yeah.
working
And
at the
think
company.
about
Like
think
we
about
never
how
even
many
got on the
meetings that's
phone
grown
before
into.
then.
No, and to interject, you know, in my notes preparing for this,
Yeah.
I had said, you know, we were used to having our weekly, you know, Monday meetings, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, there were multiple meetings, and there were multiple reasons
got up and
for these
yeah,
meetings,
yeah,
etc.
I know, yeah. Big
But
changes,
if
yeah.
you look at what has transpired
yeah.
from those meetings,
These meetings, go meetings.
fresh spray, go spray, starter kit,
Yes, we're gonna
cabana,
talk
you know,
about all
etc.
that.
There's been so much progress,
Yeah.
you know, just because of this
Yeah.
new team and
It's
new
so
developments.
true.
You know.
I mean, one of the biggest things that I had to work with coming in was that like there were amazing people in place. Like having a team of people that genuinely care
Yeah.
about the company that they're working for. Like I've told James this more than once. There was almost zero turnover in the warehouse in California
Yeah.
when I got here, which is completely unheard of in like, you know, entry level positions for anything. You know, so I was like, what I knew at that point that I'd made a good decision.
Yeah.
I was like, the culture that like this company is clearly working towards building is really positive.
It's so
And
true.
I was like, okay, like how can I not ruin this?
And it's funny because I think a few days ago I just said it feels like I've been here for 2 years.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way.
Yeah.
happy 4-month anniversary, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been about 4 months, and I just feel like, yeah, coming into this, you know, I have a creative studio, so it's creative directing for small startups. When I say startup, it's just tiny, not like Fresh Patch startup, like back in the startup days. I was getting really tired of building websites, and then, you know, some clients would just, okay, I'll change my mind, because it was a passion project. There was no traction to it, no momentum to these businesses that I was consulting, creative directing for. So going into Fresh Patch, I was really excited to help build and scale a brand through creative, which is like, I think, you know, creative, it's many things. It's the story behind it. It's speaking and engaging and really connecting with the customers. And I think in my interview, I came, I guess, overly prepared.
We love that about you, though.
Yeah, like I think like
Presentations.
Yeah, the presentation queen.
Presentation.
I do love my presentations, and I think I really went down, like, you know, I really connected to that story of Chloe and how, you know, like I believe I read it on the website, and then like I went far back down on Instagram or on the website, website, and just like the fact that like Chloe was like the inspiration behind Fresh Patch, you know. And I think you mentioned something previously, Karina, about Chloe and how Chloe would you had Chloe before you met.
Yes.
Andrew?
Oh,
Can you tell us
the
about
story?
that?
Yeah, I should talk about that. You're right. Oh, all my dates that I went on. No, you know, because I was single.
This is news. I didn't know this.
So
either.
I was
good. I had to
dating,
bring this up.
Any guy I would
She's
date.
spilling the tea.
Yeah, that's spilling the tea. It's be good. No. You know, they'd come pick me up or whatever, or drop me up, and like Chloe a lot of times would bark. She's like, I don't like this guy. You know, we were very much in tune with one another, Chloe and I. You know, she was my baby. So yeah, a lot of times she would bark, or just she would leave the room or whatever. But she loved Andrew a lot. And when you came over, like you were petting her, they were sitting. I was like, what? Because she was very protective of me, you know. So she had a really good vibes, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, Chloe's really the inspiration for it all.
Yeah.
We were.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Yeah.
It goes back to
I remember
Chloe.
one time too, you told me you were like, your brother, like the attention your brother gave Chloe.
Still, it's like Lily now. I'm like, hello. No,
You said you knew he was a good
Mary.
guy because you were like, the
did.
way he treats a pet.
the way
or an
he
animal.
treats animals in
You
general,
were like,
just animals.
It's a good thing you picked him.
I
'cause
know.
There wouldn't have been a Fresh Patch.
I know. I was just thinking
we
that.
would be unemployed.
Right,
job,
exactly.
Chloe, and
You'd
it's
be
a good
working
job.
at
Thank you, Chloe.
Yeah. Chloe knew. Should we
Yay,
show? I guess we
Chloe.
already showed Chloe's
we've
face.
shown Chloe.
I will
We haven't
say-
even talked about Lily. That's funny. Our current dog.
I had a memory though of Jason and I was here, happened to be there for the interview, and I was like, okay, I'll sit in. And Jason and I left the interview. Do you remember us running into your office?
Yeah.
We were like, we literally like high five, and then we gave Andrew
Oh yeah.
a call.
Oh yeah. I got
Yeah.
the phone call, and I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, this is who we're
We were like,
hiring.
all right.
I mean,
we
that
were just
interview.
like, she is
Andrew
it.
was
Like,
like breathe.
yeah, we were like, all the pieces just came together.
Yeah.
We felt like you really just represent like your love for animals, all
Everything,
the
yeah.
things, and it's just been so exciting and like already in only 4 months to see where the brand has gone
Yeah.
and the consistency of all the vision.
We
been
were all in
so-
agreement.
Yeah, in 4 months,
too.
it's amazing how much
It is. We've done a lot of.
it's come
Yeah.
together.
Done a lot.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I think it's easy when the product sells itself. There's really good people behind it. I'm so inspired even just hearing about like that hero's journey of going from like, you know, can't do the Shark Tank this year, next year. Like that's like that takes a lot. You have to, as an entrepreneur, like I have that experience myself, like you go through so many emotional blocks, and like you really have to just push through and persevere. And just hearing everyone's story of like the behind the scenes of like even just like being in the hotel room, like, you know, right before getting on stage, like, you know, that's so nerve-wracking. And so just knowing that there are good people behind this company, and I think I remember you both saying that, you know, Andrew's like a great CEO because you just trust people, and I've never, you know, like that's so rare. It's like it's rare.
We
to,
try not to micro.
Oh, you know, we,
Yeah.
Right?
we
We're
shout
not
you out
big
during
micro.
interviews.
Yeah.
Micromanaging is a lot of work.
Just do it. We trust you.
I should know.
If you hire somebody after micromanage,
Yeah.
they shouldn't
Yeah.
work for you. Like,
Yeah.
like
yeah,
hire
you
somebody
guys
that
are all
like hire
kind of
somebody that knows how to do
go-getters.
their job.
But with that
Have
said,
to
giving
do their
credit
job.
back to Andrew, like when
Yeah,
it comes down to the
because
hard
not all
decisions.
CEOs are that.
Yeah. But you
I've
know
been
how to
there.
pivot, or if someone's steering in another direction, you without doubt will say, let's actually go this way. Or I think back to Kentucky. I mean, there was a whole farm, and a lot of entrepreneurs.
Said, don't think
No,
back
but
to
like a
Kentucky.
lot of people would get stuck on that path. And
Isn't
you
that
just
a
said,
bad word? I thought we
Oh.
discussed this.
Yeah, we don't
My
talk
bad.
about Kentucky.
No,
That's
okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Just
All right.
all right. My point being, your ability to really come in and make a hard decision and a quick decision when needed
Yes.
is really admirable. And you've steered these ships while letting each of us
Yeah.
shine in
Sure.
our own ways.
Absolutely.
And it's just it's been amazing to see you become the leader you are.
Which,
You're funny.
which is huge. And again, you know, from my perspective, being given, you know, the reins, so to speak, to just kind of grow and do your thing is awesome, because, you know, I never felt like super under the thumb necessarily. You gave me that, you know, that rope, that leeway to kind of grow and do my thing or whatever, which leads me into talking to you, and I'm looking over there at Drew.
Yeah.
We're gonna these guys.
That what an awesome thing too, to
Yeah.
get to a point where we've been able to internally promote people
Promote
that
from
have
within, right?
that you've
Yes.
been there
Yeah.
and done
We're
their
big on
thing
that,
or
yeah.
whatever.
One thing I wanted to talk about was COVID.
COVID, yeah, not to, you know, capitalize on the fact that we were in a pandemic, but it was awesome. you know, because more people were getting dogs, spending time at home with their dogs, etc. It was great for us.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to go through all the protocols like any other companies. You know, Jason, our new COO, definitely was there to implement, you know, all these things that were happening. We were getting thrown things that, you know, we hadn't been through. We didn't know how to navigate this. And I remember, you know, Andrew being like, okay, you know, what's going on in there in California? You know, he's across the United States.
Yeah.
You know, make sure this is happening. Put this notice on the doors and, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But we got through it.
Yeah.
And I think we actually benefited.
We did great
know.
business during that. And we also get to help out. I mean, a lot of, I guess, situations, right? I mean, there are many reasons people get Fresh Patch, but.
Yeah, I mean, the company really just boomed during the time period. I mean, I think we went from being a 7-figure a year business to an 8-figure a year business in revenue just during that time period because of the. It was just a time where people were adopting more pets, and people didn't want to interact with other people, and they wanted their space, and luckily a lot of those people who tried the product are still customers, and everyone was saying that, well, maybe after COVID, the company won't do as well anymore, but we didn't see that. I mean,
Yeah, we were lucky, one of the lucky ones.
Hi, my name is Andrew Feld. I live in Davenport, Florida, and I'm the founder of Fresh Patch. I'm seeking $150,000 for a 10% stake in my company.
While you're staging, you're watching the person before you go,
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
and they reamed them.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh gosh, the sharks are
Go and
upset.
turn around.
You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
one of those things where, and I don't think you could see it. You were in another place, but I was getting in the dog costume and I could watch this and I was like, okay, don't tell them. But I was like, oh no, they're in a bad mood. Like they really either love you or hate you right away, right?
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
person
that's kinda
before us
scary.
just got
They brought him to
demolished.
tears.
He cried in the van with us on the way home.
terrifying.
And we're like secretly celebrating. It was,
Did you have a good feeling like when you walked out there? Were you like, okay, this is gonna be good, we got this, or was it like, oh shit, like this is happening? Like, what was going through your mind?
I don't know. I mean, it was like a very surreal experience.
I mean,
just thinking about it now is really weird. It was just like very surreal.
You were so prepared, Karina. You had prepared him so well.
I had, because I know as an actor he didn't like learning his lines, so
you had
I was
that
like, you have to get this down. I just blew your cover.
I nailed my speech. I didn't. I got my speech down.
I mean, it was one of the best ones I've ever
it was
seen,
great.
and I'm very like critical of that kind of, and it was
And they all
amazing.
wanted after they heard about the revenue we had done, which was
tell
$1
me
million
about that.
at that point.
Yeah, which was a
you know.
lot then.
But
I
we
mean,
were 5
like-
years into it. We were a real company. Had we come out there with like as a new idea, they would have laughed me off the stage.
Yeah,
It
and
was
you know,
almost serendipitous
Yeah.
that you
that it
had
was
gotten
in your
rejected a couple
third-
years.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
happened that year?
Yeah, you'd already proven
Right.
the concept.
And I will say, I do also, it was very fascinating to not be able to see and have your auditory senses almost heightened. So I almost
Yeah.
remember things that were said that didn't make the cut.
What was that? What do you remember?
Do you remember Barbara called you? He was like, who's this Clark Kent coming down? So you immediately,
Superman.
so you immediately won her over.
She's like, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Yeah, she was like, and then I think they were like, so what did you do before this? And you very reluctantly had mentioned that you'd done some acting and model, and I think that's modeling, and that's when she goes, I thought so. You and Clark Kent, she made some sort of Clark Kent comment. And they all were really interested. It was really exciting. Like, I remember in the costume, I was just like, deep, slow breaths. Like, I was just wanting to like stay calm
Good
so
job.
you could stay calm kind of thing. And
Yeah, well, you did it. Whatever you guys
energy-
did worked.
the energy was really amazing, and I love too that you held true. Like, they were really trying to talk you down, and you're like, I know this idea is
like-
worth more than that.
Yeah.
Right.
And then that made them believe in the idea a little bit more too. And yeah, having those sales already and having done the legwork, Mark loves that. You know, if you're coming in with an idea is an idea. But if you're a true entrepreneur who's been selling these out of your car, you're doing this with
Yeah.
a team of three,
Right.
they respect that. And
Yeah,
they
they do.
all were interested. They were fighting over you.
Yeah. No, and they really, validated the company and the product, and just having them all fight for it on that show just put everything in a whole different light.
Yeah, no, it was great. Did you guys had the product there too, right? So I'm trying to remember. I haven't seen the episode, even though they still I haven't seen it in a while. But you took it around. They all touched it. Like, was there any part that like wasn't planned where we were like, ooh, like kind of embarrassing? Or
Yeah, well,
weird?
we had the silver tray back then. That silver pan that we don't use anymore. And we had the aluminum tray.
Well, I think did we make like
yeah.
We made a big one.
A glorified sleeve.
Yeah, and then
I was sitting on it.
Yeah, you were sitting. Was that supposed to happen?
With the little
Actually,
fire hydrant.
Andrew, you had planned that
We
out. You're
didn't have
like,
the fire hydrant then, did we? Or did we have something?
we had one, but we weren't selling it back then.
yeah.
Right, yeah.
You had kind of
Coming
said, you were
soon.
like, if they asked to see the XL, like I was like, all right, all I have to do is get on the grass and sit there and maybe make some hand movements. Also, I will say bringing Claudia back into it is really great. While we were practicing in the hotel
Yeah.
room, we didn't have the moves or the tail wags, and basically if Claudia laughed,
Yeah, it was in.
it was
right?
in. She was our test audience.
Yeah.
And so that was a really fun component, but yeah, it was just, I remember, they just loved it. You killed it. It was really
Yeah.
perfect.
And
from
we
the
got
start.
serious after that. Like, we're after Shark Tank. We're like,
Oh,
ooh.
yeah.
We really kind of buckled down. We're like, we're a real company. I don't know why that was the
Well,
point.
that was the point when
We're like-
you said I couldn't answer the phone anymore.
I'm like, you're done. I'm gonna get customer
I
service,
was
and he
answering the
fought
phones
me.
up until then.
He fought me so hard on this.
Yeah.
I had to pry that phone out of your. He was like, no, I'm hiring someone. So we did that. That was a big thing. The accounting. I actually learned the software, and I started doing accounting,
Yeah.
which is crazy. We're definitely do-it-yourselfers, I think. Through
I
this
think with
process.
if you're starting something new, that's really the only way.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, if you can burn a lot of money really fast.
Yeah, and we
if
learned-
You can learn how to do it.
Yeah, ourselves. Now, luckily, I don't do that anymore. That's
Right.
nice. That went on a while. But so we did that. And then we brought on Lori.
I was honestly not that soon.
No, it was a little after.
Lori's
It was a
like,
little
still
after.
not
I
yet.
moved to
That's
Denver.
what she's like, not yet.
Not yet. I was still
She's
kind
like,
of.
we're
I was
a
like, all
couple
right, I
years
did
away.
That was the next
sisterly
big
duty.
milestone.
Did
That
the
was the
sisterly
next big-
duty. Did the dog thing, and then it wasn't until I moved to Denver, and my brother slowly was like, "Come on, just do our Instagram. You can do this."
Yes. Oh, that's right, because I was still doing it
You were
then.
still doing
oh
it,
my,
and I think
the
you
Pug
didn't want
Chat.
to.
Every Wednesday night, I would go on
Pug Chat.
Pug Chat, and I would talk to pug owners. I'm like, I remember
Pug
these
Chat.
hashtag Pug Chat. I'm like, oh, they're cute. I drove myself crazy. I love dogs, but I'm like, wow.
Those Pug Chat people are nuts.
All
Sorry,
dogs.
Pug Chat
all dog
people.
people are.
Sorry,
might
Pug
hear
Chat
you.
That's
people.
going to be edited out. All right. But no, that's what we were doing, and that's how we grew it. And then luckily Lori had way more experience.
So yeah, I mean, basically, it all started. Andrew was like, "All right, come on, do the Instagram. You can do this. I'll give you a couple $100 a week." I was like, "All right, I'll do this and my other thing on the side." And then slowly he's like, "Can you do this project and this project and this project?" And it worked. Honestly, I had like kind of these two separate sets of experiences that came together, and it was an incredible opportunity. Like James said, I mean, just so grateful that you guys trusted me. And
Of course.
it was
Are
such.
you kidding?
I
You
mean,
were amazing.
it was
I mean,
really neat to take that like experience with large brands and digital marketing and this new knowledge I had with creative and just do it.
Yeah.
And just like you also, to Andrew's credit, his ability to find talent and trust people and let them fly and really allow them to do what they do best was such an honor. It was really just day by day learning something new and new projects, and it grew and it grew and it grew and it grew, and then it outgrew me.
Well, it was remote for a long time, and then
We
you
all took our
came-
breaks.
We're still going to get you back
Yeah.
in the mix.
You guys have
Then you just recently. I mean, it was how many months ago? 6 months ago that
Yeah,
you came to
we're
the
still part of
you came
it.
to the town. You came to Oxnard and spent like a month there, 6 weeks there. And
5 months ago.
Yeah, I've been mostly working remotely, like doing it all in silo. Like Andrew and I, mostly all the online stuff, all the marketing stuff. I mean, James holding down the fort with the warehouse and getting grass to the customers, and Andrew and I just like, all right, like figuring it out. It's really incredible what a small business can do in the new marketing and media landscape. It's been really remarkable to be a part of that and kind of see, what a small brand can do with a little bit of budget and 2 people and some freelancers who live in vans with their cats. And we just built this little team of people.
fun group,
Amazing. Yeah.
All right, so we are going to talk about patches. And what better place to
The
start?
original Patches.
Yeah. Oh goodness.
Tell
I mean,
tell me the stories behind Patches so we know about the outfit.
yeah. I mean,
Making a character.
I would say the best thing about Patches was just everyone thought it was you, right?
Oh yeah, everyone still thinks it's me. I get DMs. I was telling them every week, "That's you, right?" haven't had any about the other one the other night yet, but yeah. I mean, when the show airs, it's constant. Well, that was you. So I know that we have some really exciting events coming up this summer and maybe a little bit into the fall. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so one of the fun projects that we're working on right now is a pop-up. So for those of you who are listening or just watching this, we're hoping to, just like make Fresh Patch available in person so you can touch the grass and also check out all our products and even meet Patches.
Yes. Maybe have some fun games.
A real sensory experience over the product,
Activities. Awesome. Can't wait. All right, guys, this was awesome. I love doing this out here with you guys. This was so fun. I think it's time to cheers, right? All right, let's go.
Good pets get it.
Someone lost one.